Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing the last part 3 of the 10 cards for Simon Says Stamp August 2018 card kit. And so I'm going to start with this one on this beautiful blue brocade paper. It reminds me of brocade fabric, and that's why I'm calling it that. And the wreath stamp, which are a couple of my favorites. So I'm going to stamp on this paper with the texture and see how well it does directly onto it. It does pretty good. It didn't stamp all the way, but I can go back with this Millennium little fine line pen and fill in the little pieces that didn't stamp. And it could be my pad needs re-inking. So, and then I thought, well, I'm going to see how these Prismacolors work on this, not only on blue paper, but on textured paper. And in a little while, you'll see a close-up, and you can actually see the lines of the texture showing through the pencil. It's kind of interesting, but it doesn't do bad. And I thought I'm just going to see how it works. Now another thing is I took one of the sentiment stamps that says with love, and I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm stamping it off onto this white paper as a backup, 2 of them, so that I can cut in half. I wanted a really thin strip, but I'm going to try it on the blue paper first and see how it does, knowing that if it doesn't work, I can always put something on top. And I was surprised that it worked as well as it did. It's a little faint though, so I thought, well, I believe I will use the white, but you can see the texture and see the lines in the flower there. And so I took some blue, 2 different shades of real light blue that matched fairly well to that paper, and just colored around the edges just to give, so it wouldn't just be stark white, and went around the edges, and I'm backing it with some black paper, just a very fine edge around it, and putting on my Tombow Mono Multi Glue. You can see that it's white, but I'll set it aside and let it dry. When it's clear and dry, then it becomes repositionable. And I stamped some extra flowers also, and I'm coloring them. Not sure if I'm going to use them. I'll see what it looks like, but I sped this up tremendously so that you wouldn't have to sit there and watch me color. And but I'll cut it out and then hold it up on that blue paper on top of the other one and see if I like that look or not, which one I like better. I'll put it that way. So that's what I'm doing here, just experimenting with those Prismacolors. Could have used any color scheme, and going ahead and cut this out very quickly, sped it up, but I wanted you to see that there is a process here. And I went back with the little black ink marker and really intensified that center dot, and it does look a lot better. Alright, so now the glue is dry and I'm gluing that on there. I decide I do want to use the little stamp sentiment on the white paper, and just keep it down at the bottom to not distract too much from that beautiful blue paper. And then that's what the other flower looked like with some glue on it, and I think I like it better. And I'm kind of just turning up the edges a little bit because you can see the color underneath. And then I want to show in that space, or that wreath, that circle, you could use those really cute little enamel dots, well, they're hearts, that come in the kit, and put them in the center, and that I thought that would be pretty. But what I decided to do to really glam this up was to put some glue on that ring of the wreath and some really fine glitter. This is Dazzling Diamonds by Stampin' Up. I don't know if they make it anymore. I'm not a dealer, never have been, but this is my favorite of all glues because it really is like Dazzling Diamonds as I put it back in there. It has such a glitter to it, and it's very fine. So I hope I can find something when my stash runs out. I can find something that works as well. I've had this a long time. But anyway, I'm using a great big old makeup brush to get off the glitter from the larger areas. And then I'm taking a much finer brush to get in closer to that ring. I don't want to knock off the glitter that is already there, or the glue as far as that goes, although it's dried, so that wouldn't happen. But anyway, I experimented with dry glue and wet glue, and it didn't seem to make a difference as far as the glitter goes. But I decided that, and I do like it, and I will show you, but I decided that I want to put, there I'm taking my little fine brush and going really close to the edge and trying to get as much off as I can. And that's what it looks like. And it's now as I tip it, and you can see it hit the light, you can see how pretty that is. However, I thought I will experiment and put another row of glue and another row of glitter, another layer, I should say. So that's what I'm showing. I've already done it, but I'm just showing you that's what I did, and I do like it better. Now I put it on a piece of pink paper there to kind of highlight that pink flower, but I'll pull it in, I'll zoom in and let you see it with the extra glitter. And I think you can tell the difference. I think I can tell the difference. I like that look. And I think it was just quite elegant. I'm showing you the different colors of pink, from light to medium to darker, and then darker yet. But can't you see that being a Christmas card with the poinsettia up there? Poinsettia, and then a beautiful glitter wreath. I just think that would be so elegant. There is a real close-up. I wanted you to see that paper too, how it is brocade, and then the glitter as well. I think quite an elegant looking card. Okay, here's the next card. Now this one is the little pot with the flowers in it, and I've used this in parts 1 and part 2. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to use it again today in a different way. Stamped first on a piece of copy paper because I'm making a mask. I only need the mask for the sides, so I'm not going to cut the whole thing out. I'm just going to cut the sides, and I'll lay it on top of that stamp. Now I'm leaving that up there to see if the ink will transfer by just leaving it on that white cardstock at the top, and as long as I don't touch it, we're in good shape. So there we go. And it still didn't stamp really well, so I'm thinking my either I'm not mashing hard enough or I need some more ink. But again, the trusty pen, you can outline, and you could just freehand that, because a flower is a flower. If it's blank space, you can make it any size petal you want. And so I'm putting down my mask. I have one little tiny drop of glue, so it's sticking a little bit, but I don't normally do that. So I stamped one flower pot to the right and another one to the left. You'll see what I'm going to do with these in just a minute. And then I'm bringing in what I used on one I've already done and colored, and how inked up it is and how messed up it is, that mask, and it was cut out all the way around. But this way, I have 2 masks now, as long as they'll hold up. I just think copy paper works just as well as anything else, but that's just me. But anyway, so then I wanted to show you something else that I decided to do. And I didn't actually do this in my card, but it's an idea. I put a piece of scrap paper behind the copy paper from the kit, the pattern paper from the kit, and stamped on it. And I'm going to do a little paper piecing here and cut out the pot first of all, and could have been out of any pattern paper. It didn't matter. There are different sizes of print, of course, and then you have your stripes and everything else. But anyway, so there it is. I'll pull down my stamped piece there and show you what I'm talking about. And the second one I did not stamp. I literally laid a cutout pot on top of it and traced around it. You'll see up close in a minute that I just used a pencil to kind of make those highlight lines across it, and just as an experiment. So now I'm cutting out one of the flowers. I don't know that I would do all of this on one card, but I'm just showing as an example of what you can do with this stamp set. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut out the smaller flower and even leave the stem on it. And then play with where I want to place these. I put that to cover up the blank space that didn't stamp. Then I moved them back around, put the little one there with the stem, line it up. I haven't even glued it down. It's just for an idea and playing around with placement. And there you have it. That's what it would look like if you like that look, wanted to do something like that. It's awfully cute too, and it's easier than coloring. Well, it depends on the person if you think it's easier or not. Then I thought, well, I might as well cut out that long skinny leaf, and but part of it had already been cut away from the other cutting, but you get the idea. I'll get in close, and you could color the bottom of the leaf green as far as that goes, or just stamp it again and cut out a whole leaf. But it's not bad for the leaves even, especially if you have the green print paper, or maybe you just want to use bright colors. It doesn't matter. Now here's the stamp I did, the fence that I did stamp off camera, but I did, and I cut out almost all the top, all the little pickets there, and but I wanted to show you how I did that. And rather than have to cut out the whole thing, I colored between the fence pieces blue because it shows the sky behind it. Now, this is a side step card. I don't have time to go into how to make it today, but I've done 2 videos on the side step card, and I'll reference it at the end of this video, how you can find it and see. This is a 5x7 card. I'm putting down 2 pieces, each one's an inch wide, on that strip there, because that's a 2-inch wide strip. 5 inches at the top. It's a 5x7 card. Start with a 10-inch piece, fold it in half at 5 inches, and that's why I had that 2x5. Now the other piece on the other side, you fold it down to make this right there, this little hills and valleys, and I'm putting some green back there to represent grass. And but anyway, you just make that long cut on the left-hand side, an inch up from the bottom, putting a makeup sponge, putting the neutral ink all the way around it. And you'll have to forgive my hair. It does get in here some. I'm trying to line this up. But anyway, one long cut, inch from the bottom, 6 to 6 inches at the top. But you'll see all that later. Now this is the pot. This is a long row of pots that I stamped before and colored off camera. I don't know if I forgot to film it or if the camera messed up. I know sometimes my memory card gets full. But anyway, so just I'm showing how I did color. I put some green in the white spaces behind the flowers so that it would look as if that's grass. Here's my take on this. This is what I decided to make. First it was going to be a patio. Now I drew like wooden planks back behind that. Here goes the fence down, and that piece of blue pattern paper at the back is to represent the sky. I was going to have it be a deck. I'm not an artist, but I just drew some planks of wood. Oh, yes, and there was one little piece of fence short. If you can imagine, I came up one plank short. So I took another little piece, put some glue on it, excuse me, and then cut out that one little piece and have to fit it in there on the far left, but it worked out fine. It doesn't really show that much back there anyway. It's just getting it on there and getting it lined up. But anyway, I drew the little planks for the wood, thinking it was going to be a deck, and then I decided no, it's going to be a garden room, and that's a big window. They're sitting on the floor, a wooden floor with a big window behind them, or sliding patio doors, gliders, whatever you call them. And then on the left, that's either going to be wallpaper with a curtain beside it, or a curtain with a border on it, or wallpaper with a border on it. But that's going to represent a wall. Here's the flooring. I'm just showing how I just kind of drew some little lines and some knots and so forth to try to represent wood planks, and then colored it with actually 3 or 4 colors of brown that doesn't really show. And so that is my looking out there. I'm filling in the white space, and that is looking out the garden room window or the sliding glass doors into the backyard with a fence and a sky on a beautiful day with growing some beautiful flowers indoors that are getting some beautiful sunshine. Now I could have cut those off if I need to fit. I'm talking about the flowers hanging off the edge, excuse me. And if I need it to fit into an envelope, I can do that, or get a larger envelope. But I decided to not cut off that yellow flower on the far left just because I liked it. So that gives you an idea. That right-hand side of that side step card has a fold. Obviously, you can see that there. So you lose a couple of inches off of the 10 inches. Making it, you have to make the fold on that side 6 inch at the 6-inch mark on the front and 4 inches overhanging on the back, if that makes any sense. But if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, please go back and look at those other videos. I just didn't want to make this video too long by going through all those steps, but I'll refer you to that one at the end of the video. So, and that's what it looks like. And it's been around. Side step cards have been around a long time, but I still think they're just so neat and so fun to work with. There's a lot you can do with them. So I hope you enjoy this card, and we'll give it a try. And just even the row of flowers on a plain card would be pretty. So colored the pots to kind of match the background sky color rather than a terracotta pot, the way I did on the other one. So now we're off to the next card, which is the third card, and in reality is card number 9 of the 10 cards. So I'm going to use my favorite pattern paper on this one at the bottom half. The top half I'm making some polka dots with a circle stamp and some Versamark ink. It's clear, sticky ink that just darkens the paper. You can see it, but it's extremely subtle. Now, what I have the painter's tape off to the left for is just to show me where the halfway mark is on this card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because I didn't particularly want to make the dots on the back of the card. And that black is just a loose piece of paper I stuck up under the painter's tape to use as a guide. So I have my pieces cut out, and they've been sitting off to the side drying. I hope you can see those little dots. You'll see them better in a minute when I zoom in. But when I put these down, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. This is my favorite of the pattern paper because it's very Art Nouveau to me, and I love that look. And we'll get up close in a minute and see it. It just makes me happy to look at that paper. I should just carry it around with me, put it in different rooms of the house so I can see it. But anyway, then I wanted to really accent it and highlight it with these little strips of black, just to really give it the honor it's due, in my opinion. I just happen to like that. I had colored another flower and vase that I've used in parts 1 and 2, I think. But I just wanted this to be so subtle and so simple. I could put a sentiment up above where the polka dots are, but I just really didn't want to. But I just wanted to keep that, I don't know, just free and easy and clean, and just accentuate the different parts. And it is a very simple card, but when we zoom in a little closer, you'll be able to see those dots and that pretty pattern paper. And I'm trying to catch, I took the Nouveau drops and I didn't make just little dots on that flower, but I took them and I drug that around the edges of the petals in a straight line, and I'm not catching it at all. I'm not catching the light where you can see it, but you will in a second as I get a little bit closer. You can see a little bit, see the shine and the shimmer, and also you can see those Versamark polka dots in the background also, how they do show up. But I just wanted to give it's kind of like glossy accents, but this is colored pink. So I wanted to show that off. Now this is the final card. It actually ends up being 2 or 3 cards. I did one very similar, I think part 1, but these are 3 strips, 1 1/4 inches, 2 strips, 1/4 inch. They go 1/4 inch long. The card is 5 1/2 wide, so the other 1 1/2 is another piece of paper. That's the one I had. That card there at the bottom is the one I had in part 1, I believe. I'm going to do this a little different. I'm almost making this a plaid. Instead of having a solid piece on the on the right hand side, I put a strip down the center. Now I'm using the Nuvo drops. They don't show up very much, but just up close they do. And putting some little pink dots at the intersections of those strips. Just go to the printer, the paper trimmer, and cut out 1/8 strips, 1/4 inch strips, and have them on hand to use them any way you want to. That's just showing you what the strips look like. That first one is really too wide, and then the little 1/4 inch strips, and what all you can do with them. I decided to turn this basically into a plaid. I cut 2 more 1/4 inch strips, and also printed a sentiment that said that one says with love. Put it down there on top of the strip, and then bound it with either one of those strips. And I could totally see this being a set of cards if you wanted to give someone a gift, or use them for yourself for different occasions. When you need a card, you could use it for anything. So trim off those tails, and that's what it looks like. With a good way to use up scraps also with your matching pattern papers. Here's the next one that is very similar. I don't have that one says from my heart to yours, that sentiment from the kit. I didn't put the long vertical strip on the right hand side on this one. I left it plain, but I am putting it on the left side portion. Kind of pick it up to see if I'm getting it straight there. And then I'll put down the other one, as I'm showing, not on the right hand side, but on the left hand side. And again, framing that. This one says from my heart to yours. And just framing that up. And then I also had stamped the For You stamp sentiment, and I'm just gluing this on there to go with For You from my heart to yours. And there it is in the kit, and gluing that down. And I'll cut those tails off real quick. It's mostly cutting and gluing and playing with pretty colors, and it is good in solid colors, all different ways. But I'm going to show you, that's what it looks like up close. I want to show you some variations of ideas you might just do jumpstart. If you like something like that, but you want to do something different with it, give you some ideas. This was literally a scrap of the script paper that came in the kit. I've used part of it, you can see. So I had some extra strips, 1/4 inch strips. I had that. I thought I'm going to glue it down on a piece of black paper. We'll see what happens with it. I'll just start putting some of the little strips down. The For You, I had an extra print of the flower in the vase. I put it on a black background, and I thought this could be a card. That's what it would look like if it were a card. That white would be showing the boundary or the border. You could use a darker strip if you want more contrast. I liked it better up high. And that's what it looks like with the colored. I had an extra one of those if you wanted to color it and add more pizzazz to it. But I liked it better up in the upper left-hand corner. To me, it looked more like a scrapbook page, and being offset like that. And that's just from leftovers. So, but the same principle. So you might want to, play with that. There is an extra wreath that I'd stamped. You could use that. You could cut out the center of the wreath, and then all of that print paper would show through. That's what it would look like on that one. That's what the flower in the vase would look like on that one. I'm just trying to just show you some ideas, and you probably have a lot more than I do, but just to kind of jumpstart, that's what that would look like on that. And so there you have it. It's a fun technique and useful, especially if you've got a lot of pattern paper. Now, this was the original one that I had, and I believe it's in part 1, and so I wanted to show you that too. But here are the last 4 of the 10 cards. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll give them a try. I appreciate you being here and watching this long video. There will be some more videos at the end if you would like to look at them. And a subscribe button, I appreciate that if you want to do that. And just hope you have a wonderful day. And thanks again for being here. It's been my pleasure, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. We will see you before too long, I'm quite sure. Bye-bye.